Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I was very gratified to see that Ralph Nader has entered the race. A lot of people think that Ralph Nader in the race is going to take away votes from the Democrats and may in fact help whoever is the Republican nominee, probably John McCain, win the presidency in November. And that may or may not be true. But what I'm glad about is at least Nader is a fresh voice over what we've heard from all of the other candidates. So if you like Ralph Nader and you like what he stands for, I urge you most strongly to vote for him. Regardless of what that means the outcome of the election is. I think it's most important that you vote your principles regardless of what happens as a result of your vote. If your guy does not win, you've lost nothing. You've voted for what you believe in. I'll vote for Ron Paul in my primary. If he's in the general election, I'll vote for him there. But if he's not, I'll vote for Ralph Nader. Why, do you ask? When you have Ron Paul on a very conservative economic side and you have Ralph Nader on a very liberal, almost socialist side, I'll tell you why. Because at least Ralph Nader has a strong history of anti-corporatism and pro-consumerism. And lacking a strict constitutionalist, I'll take his attitude any day. Because I know Ralph Nader as president is not going to kowtow to corporate interests like every single other candidate will, and already has done. So, if you plan on voting for Nader, I say go for it. I hope he does well. Lacking Ron Paul in the general election, I'll vote for Ralph Nader. I also see that Alan Greenspan today urged the Gulf states in the Middle East to drop the dollar as their reserve currency. This is only more of the same crap from Alan Greenspan, the ass who served as the Federal Reserve's chairman for so many years, hailed by so many people as being the cause of the U.S.'s continued economic growth, unprecedented in world history. Yada yada blah blah. Bullshit. He ran a smoke and mirror show, a dog and pony show, whatever you want to call it, when he was in charge of the Fed. And now that he's not in charge, he's adding his 2 cents worth again, trying to precipitate an even further erosion of the dollar around the world. His continued manipulation of interest rates while he was the chairman of the Fed is hailed as keeping us out of recession several times. I doubt that any of that is true. I think he's working on an agenda all of his own, or that someone has put him up to, that is designed to erode faith in the U.S. dollar, because the U.S. dollar is meant to go down the fucking tank. And that's where it's going. So thank you, Alan Greenspan, for undermining the United States economy yet again. Also, I see that Russia has decided to start trading at least some of its oil in rubles instead of dollars, which is another stroke against the U.S. dollar around the world, and no doubt will lead to continued declining value of the U.S. dollar against other foreign currency. And I needn't remind you, well, maybe I do need to remind you, that if there is an Obama presidency, the troubles that we're having with Russia as regards Kosovo and the dollar and the satellite shoot-down and any of the other little things that are going on in international news are only bound to get extremely worse if Obama gets in as president, because with Brzezinski in there, that means a total anti-Russian stance will permeate that administration. And they will go back to an isolation and containment policy against Russia, formerly the USSR, but now just Russia, And of course that is going to lead to aggravation and a possible reignition of the Cold War. So, the man of peace, Obama, yeah, right, my ass, the man of peace, only looks to have worse relations with Russia, not to mention Pakistan that he wants to invade, etc., etc. So, Russia is helping along the dollar's demise, along with our own wonderful Alan Greenspan. And last but not least, I'd like to just mention how proud I was as an American to see that the USA is the most in-debt nation in the world, according to the CIA factor. So far in the red, we probably can't fucking see the zero mark, let alone getting into the green. Where's all this money going to come from to pay back all of this debt? If it's going to come from anywhere, you can bet your ass it's going to come from you and me, some way, shape, or form, because ultimately we're the only ones that ever do have to pay for anything. Thank you.